So today's project is getting this Honda K24 outboard on this Sea Ray Seville 16. And this is the original engine. It's a Mercury 100. And right after I bought this boat, number one, lost compression. So it was cheaper to buy this engine, which is a 4-stroke and fuel injected and a bunch of upgrades over this engine. And so this engine's coming off, this engine's going on. The only real difference about this engine over this one is that this is a 25-inch shaft and this is a 20-inch shaft, but the transom on this boat is a 22-inch. So what Sea Ray did from the factory is they just put the 20-inch shaft at the top hole to drop the shaft of this outboard down to 22 inches. So the problem that creates for me is now I have a 3-inch difference to make up for that engine. So I'm going to be making a fixed jack plate out of this. This is 2x3 aluminum angle. It's 3/8 thick. And then I'm also going to be plating the transom on this boat with this plate. It's 3/16 thick. It's 60/61, both the angle and the plate are 60/61 T6 L-clad. And then when I get this engine off, I'm gonna pull the top cap here, look down in the transom and see how much rot, or if there's any rot there is in the transom, because it sounds really solid, but you never know on a boat this old. It's an 88 model, and as far as the floor goes and everything, it's pretty solid, but you know, these transoms are notorious for being bad. Alright, so we got the engine all unhooked. That's the trim wiring, all the ignition and main power wiring. The steering's unhooked, so the motor's just free. The voltage regulator wiring, the shifter and throttle are both unhooked now, and then the fuel line and the lower unit vent, they're all unhooked. I was also able to build engine stand so I can hang the old engine on it or the new engine while I'm getting the jack plates and everything made. So it's coming along. Alright, this is our setup for engine removal. We don't have the bolt that's supposed to go on the top for pulling this particular engine, but we're strapping it like this, and between me and my lovely helper, I think we'll be okay. Being able to keep it centered and everything. I won't be able to film this because I don't have a tripod, but all that's left to do is take those bolts out, take it off, and put it on the stand. Alright, engine is off. Had quite a bit of trouble getting it off. So all these bolts were sealed in there real good, which you don't want them leaking. But the transom looks pretty solid. I'll still take this cap off and look down in there and see what's going on. You can see that this engine, I don't know if it's an injection line or what, but it's been leaking for quite some time. There's some significant buildup in there. So now that that's off, we can get going on the jack plate. Alright, so I got the engine off, put on the stand, and taking a better look at it, I think I'm going to go ahead and paint a lot of this engine. There are some corroded spots, I don't know how well you can see, but in here just the paint needs buffed off and sanded and prepped and everything. And I need to decide if I'm going to keep the Honda gray or if I'm going to go to a white that matches the boat more. It would kind of look more retro, I think, if it was white. The last filmed, I've got a lot of the aluminum made. So I've got the jack plates halfway made up, I'm gonna end up drilling the next set of holes up here. So we'll go through the jack plates, this plate, and then this plate sits on the inside of the transom down under the scupper. And so these holes will be intercepted by the bolt that goes through this hole. And so as of now, I gotta drill those, the jack plates, this plate, and then the engine can go on, but I've also got to make this plate fit still here in the scupper. And it's going to be a little more tricky. It's got some taper here, and then I've got to hit the scupper drain hole there and on this plate. I also got some misinformation about this. This just hides the seam in the hole where the top part of the transom comes over. So the actual transom itself ends right here and then is covered by these strips and this. So you can't actually see down there at all. But you can see through these holes, obviously, and everything seems solid except for right here in this corner. If you take a pick, put it in that hole, it just sinks straight through that hole. So obviously the transom is not going to be ready for that engine. That engine weighs quite a bit more than that one, and it's a lot higher horsepower. So I've decided that I'm gonna cut the top of the transom off, fish all the wood out from inside, and then pour either C-cast or RJ6011 in the transom in place of wood. That way I never have to worry about it rotting ever again. I was able to get these holes drilled here and here. Now I've got the scary holes left to drill. These are the ones that are going through the boat. And then on the other side of the transom on the back, I have that plate drilled as well with the same holes, and it's all bolted together. I don't know how well you can see it down in there. And so now I've got to drill through here, and I've got to catch the hole on the back. So I think I'm going to drill through the fiberglass on this side, and then drill through the fiberglass on the other side, and then drill through the wood and have someone on the other side watch and kind of help guide me in so I don't take unnecessary chunks out of the transom. Alright, should be ready. Get the engine put on. I drilled the hole I didn't want to drill through the transom. That went better than it could have. So everything is drilled. Now if you look at these two, so this is going to be the main hole that the engine sits in, the top hole. And then this is 3 inches below it because of the 22-inch transom and 25-inch shaft. So making up the 3-inch difference here. This is the original hole through the transom that the old engine sat on that I am retaining so that I have a large span of hardware holding the transom together. So this 3-inch hole on the engine, ignore the super messy garage, is this guy. Because I'm hoping to mount the engine in this hole right here. So this is a 3-inch gap. So this hole is going to have the original hole in the transom. This is what it's going to be bolted to, this one. So I had to drill that guy and a matching hole on this side. So that's where that's going. Hopefully I can get it on tonight, and then I'll take it back off, send all of the aluminum pieces out for paint or powder coat or anodize, whatever I decide. And that's when I'll cut the top off of the transom. And then I'm gonna rework some of the floor in the back of the boat actually, and possibly get rid of the rear bench and some other things, but I'll probably make some other videos as part of a series when I get to that point. Alright, we got the engine mounted on the boat now. Got all of the hardware put in, and so far so good. This engine is definitely heavier than the old one, and to get the keel or whatever on the bottom of the engine to clear, I had to jack up the back of the trailer, but it's definitely not as bad as people were saying it was going to be. So engine's on, everything is looking good. It looks like the steering hoses and everything will reach, and this is my certified hydrofoil measuring stick. It looks like, let's see, we're at it there. Looks like we got that height set just about perfect. So we're gonna take it back off, adjust some of the transom plates and mounts and things, and then cut the top off the transom and get ready for the other stuff. Well, that's a wrap for this video. I know it was a little anticlimactic, and I apologize for that, but it's all part of the process. A little sneak peek on some future videos I have cooking are taking the transom apart and taking all the wood out, and then I'm gonna have a bunch of glass work to do on that, and then pouring the transom pour in that. I think I'm gonna use Polymer World actually instead of RJ or CCast. And then I have started on rearranging the interior of the boat, and I'm still deciding if I want to do new captain's chairs, because currently it has a double forward and aft facing chair that lays down into a bed, and then back here was a bench. I'm pretty sure I want to get rid of the bench and make more room in the boat, and then I might just go to 2 captain's chairs on either side, and then a bench over here behind the driver, the captain's chair, whatever. So those are some videos to look forward to. I appreciate you watching.